Hi guys, happy October. I mean, it's the middle of October by now, but it's October, the air is cooling off. I mean, it's still 90 degrees here today in Phoenix, but hey, the extreme heat of the summer is over, and eventually it will be cool enough to maybe wear a sweater. We'll see. But I've got my windows open and hope is being restored to my being. The extreme heat of the summer really is hard, especially when you are someone like me who's very, very heat sensitive. My body cannot regulate that temperature, especially this year as I've been going through this new plethora of medical issues. So yeah, I'm just constantly overheated and just feeling awful because of it. But it's okay. The weather's cooling off. I'm feeling more hopeful. Another reason I'm feeling more hopeful is because I have made the decision to just go back to my naturopath. So I have reconnected with my NMD, and the only reason I ever go through other doctors is because none of my naturopath is covered by insurance, so all of it is paid for out of pocket, and I don't have a well-paying job. I work for barely minimum wage right now as I work from home, and it's just another, I've already mentioned this, like I love the actual job, I love the actual work, it just pays crap. And it's the type of thing where you get paid per thing that you write, and for me, it just goes against my being to rush through work. Like, I don't want to write as fast as I possibly can to get as many assignments done as I possibly can. Like, that's just not how I operate. I'm much more slow going. And so it's not ideal. It's not ideal for me. It's not a long term, it's not a lifetime career. My friend Sophia constantly reminds me, she's like, it's just your job for right now. And hopefully it's preparing me for something else. So anyway, getting back to my health stuff, I have decided to go back to my NMD, and I've only been back for one appointment so far, and I've already noticed some improvements. So like right away before I even had the appointment, they wanted to run blood work. That's what I appreciate so much, is that like they have like an intuitive sense of like what to look for, you know? And I know a lot of that is based on the fact that I've seen them for years, you know? I've been under their care for many years, and so they like know my history. So she tested my hormones, and I've got some imbalances there that we are working towards balancing again. So, but that was a relief, because I was like, I do feel like there is an imbalance somewhere going on inside my body, but I just don't have the education or the knowledge to figure it out on my own. And even if I did, my PCP would never have like just gone with what I wanted. And I don't fault her for it, because she is a young doctor. She's not even an MD yet. I don't know if she'll ever be an MD. I don't know how that whole thing goes. And I also know that she's like, kind of has to just follow the rules of insurance, you know? So yeah, as of right now, hormones a little messed up. We're getting that worked out. I've recently started a herbal like supplement to support, kind of bring two of my hormone levels closer together, because right now one of them's a lot higher than the other one is lower. So we're doing a little balancing. And because of that, it like threw my period off, and my period was like way late, and I just felt like a very extended form of PMS. But I'm now on day 2 of my period. My period did start. Yesterday was a struggle, but I feel pretty good today as far as like being on my period, so I'll take it. The other thing is, in some other blood work that she did, my white blood cells are pretty high, and there's also another level of something that goes like hand in hand with white blood cells that's also pretty high. And then she, you know, did my CD57 level, which is connected to Lyme disease. And if you're ever interested, there are papers written about the CD57 levels and Lyme disease. If you're someone who has Lyme disease, read up on it. I don't know that seems to be the test that my doctor likes to use to kind of gauge like how my Lyme is doing. So I haven't actually spoken to her about this yet. I've just been in email correspondence with one of her assistants. Because the white blood cells are so high and the other level is high, I shouldn't say so high. They're not like, they're high, but it's not like emergency situation kind of high with your white blood cells. It just shows that there is definitely an infection happening in my body. And I've felt a reemergence of Lyme symptoms as the year has progressed. And then with the CD57 level being where it's at, it's not as high as we want it to be. It's not ideal. So I haven't started yet that new regimen that she wants me to be on. I can't even think of what they're new to me. I'm not familiar with them, but there's 2 different things. I'll be getting them in the mail because my naturopath is a bit of a drive, and with gas prices and the fact that I'm not able to really drive yet still, we're just having her ship them to me. It'll be a couple of days until I get that. So anyway, the other thing is that she has put me on a cortisol manager at night to take before bed, because one of the issues I was having is I would just wake up like several times throughout the night just with like anxiety. And it's just so frustrating, like the way that my PCP, like the way that it's all set up, it's like they have me in therapy and they have me, you know, under the care of a psychiatrist. I'm not currently taking any psych meds aside from my like as needed emergency panic attack medication. But for like daily anxiety, I'm not being supported outside of therapy. And I've been in therapy. I'm actually in therapy twice a week, and my anxiety has not been any different until I started taking this cortisol manager every night, and it's improved my sleep for the most part. I mean, right now, my period always messes things up, but before my period started, I, was actually sleeping through the night, which is like a really big deal. And I've just noticed that like my baseline anxiety has maintained at a lower level. I still get like spikes of anxiety about like specific things, but as far as like day-to-day normal anxiety, I have mellowed out, which I can only assume, I'm attributing it to 2 different things. One, just the decision to go back to my naturopath and no longer having to deal with being bounced around from doctor to doctor that don't really care about me, or at least I don't feel cared for, and like being under the care of a specialized actual MD who has known me for a long time. And then this cortisol manager has like helped maintain that, I think, because my day-to-day anxiety, I feel pretty good. Like it's much lower than it has been, and that's been the only real change. I mean, I have started that herbal hormone support, so maybe that also has a part to do with it too, because I was reading up on the specific hormone that, and the only reason I'm not saying it is because I never say it correctly, but it's progesterone. I cannot say that word. Progesterone, I don't know. My progesterone levels were really low. So also my vitamin D levels were really low. So I've also been, okay, real quick side tangent. I have been taking a vitamin D supplement like this whole year, but I've been taking it from a brand that I got at like the grocery store. So despite the fact that I've been on a vitamin D supplement this whole year, they checked my vitamin D levels and it's too low. Like it showed up red on the paperwork, like too low. So that tells me that like the grocery store vitamin D is crap. I'm so mad about that. So I've been back on the vitamin D that my naturopath suggests, from a brand that she trusts. I mean, it's more expensive, but at least it's actually doing something. But the progesterone, I was like reading up on like what that hormone does, and it does a couple of things, obviously, but actually what I realized, 2 interesting things. One is that it's connected to anxiety. So, if you don't have enough of it, that can cause anxiety. or it can make your anxiety worse, I guess. And then the other thing, and again, I haven't done too much reading on it. I just like briefly read this and I was like, oh, that is interesting. And it kind of connects with what I've been dealing with. So progesterone also affects like the fluid levels of your body, I guess. I don't know. I need to do some more research, but like that makes sense for me. Like I feel like my body has been struggling to regulate its fluids correctly. I don't know. So we'll see. I'm just barely like a week into this new regimen, but I do feel somewhat of an improvement, mainly with my sleep and my anxiety, but I will take it. The other thing is that they ordered a stool analysis, which is just super fun, like the most fun kind of test that you can take. But those results take a lot longer, so I don't know when I will get those, probably in another 4 weeks or so. Just to get an idea, I've been having some intestinal issues that I'm like could be related to my hereditary angioedema, but I'm also just kind of worried because I've been experiencing pain. It's like a new kind of pain I haven't experienced before, like right around my belly button. But I will say that even that has kind of improved in the last week. I don't know if I was dealing with something more acute for like weeks and now it's I don't know. We'll see. Once I get the results, we'll see if there's something more concerning there. But also just other things that I won't go into for TMI, but other movements have improved in the last week, and so I don't know, I'm like has my naturopath really just put me on some like magical thing that has improved? I don't know, bodies are so weird. But yeah, that's my update. I made the decision to go back to my naturopath. I'm trying to believe that the sole reason because I feel like I've wasted my year. I feel like I wasted 9 months of my year, 10 months of my year, being bounced around from doctor to doctor and like feeling like absolute crap, being incredibly lonely, not seeing anyone, not doing anything, blowing through my savings. And I just to end up back at my naturopath, having to pay out of pocket. And like, it's been hard to just accept that. But if I'm viewing it under a more positive lens, I'm trying to believe that like all of this was to get me that hereditary angioedema diagnosis so that I have the medication, because with HAE, I run a 50% chance of experiencing a life-threatening attack because HAE causes swelling in the blood vessels, and I run a 50% chance of it having attack that affects my throat, which could suffocate me. And it's the kind of thing that like wouldn't be helped with an EpiPen, which is what most people would assume was happening, that I was experiencing like anaphylactic shock, but it's not. It's not the same sort of thing, and so an EpiPen wouldn't work. So this way, I have the diagnosis, I have the medication in my fridge, so if I ever do experience that, I know what to do, I know what it is, and I won't die. So I'm like trying to just like hang all of this year on, because otherwise I never would have gotten that diagnosis. Like that diagnosis, no one in a million years would have thought. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. That's another thing I'll get to. In a million years, no one would have ever thought to test me for HAE, because I really don't exhibit a common case of it. So it never would have been diagnosed had I not ended up in an immunologist's office who is like a specialty who specializes in HAE. So it's kind of interesting the way that I ended up there, because the vestibular rehab therapist is the one who told me to go get tested for mast cells activation syndrome. And that's how I ended up at the immunologist. And he's like, I don't think you have MCAS. But he was like, but I'll test you for it. And then in that same testing, he also tested me for HAE. And then when the results came back, he's like, yeah, so you don't have MCAS, but you have this other thing. And so that's just been kind of a weird, crazy thing. So I'm like, that's one thing that I just hold on to. Like, okay, that was the reason why I had to go through this whole year. I mean, I hope I never have a serious HAE attack. I mean, I hope I never have to use that medication, but oh, the last thing to update is this cough thing. For whatever reason, my allergies have been super bad this year in a way that I've never experienced. And even more than just like outside, like seasonal allergies, but like in my house. So I know from a blood test that I'm allergic to cats. And if I spend too much time like in my parents' bedroom, I'll get congested and stuff like that. Cats I don't allow in my bedroom. I never have. One, because I have like so many plants and they would kill the cats if they chewed on them. It also gives me anxiety to have like critters, like cats or whatever, like digging around in my things. Like it causes me anxiety. So they have the entire rest of the house. They're not even technically mine. I don't want cat lovers to come for me. I love cats, I love all animals, but I don't let them in my bedroom. And then once I got the blood test of the allergy blood test like a couple of years ago, cat was at the top of the list, like severely allergic. So I was like, okay, that's another reason why I don't let them in my bedroom. But also I just exist in a house that has 4 cats. And a couple weeks ago, I spent like 4 nights, 5 days at someone else's house and didn't have a single issue with breathing or coughing like once. I brought my inhaler because I was like, I don't want to be without it, but I didn't even need it for a second. And then as soon as I came back home, I came back in like the late morning, and by that evening I was like wheezing and like coughing, and I'm like, dang it, it's these cats. So at least I know what that's about, because like I literally cough up stuff from my lungs like every single morning. I lose my voice like this, and then sometimes I just feel so tight in my chest, like I can't really breathe well. But as soon as I do the inhaler, a couple minutes later, I feel good. So it's just allergies. It's just allergies to the dang cats. So, but it's fine. It's no big deal. I'll suffer through it because we're not gonna like get rid of the cats. I wouldn't want to do that anyway. So yeah, that's my little update. I want to get back to more regular videos. I really miss doing it, but everything is still the same. Like I'm still not really doing much, and I'm still working on a computer all day long. So like editing a video on a computer doesn't really appeal to me when I have the time to. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that's it for now. If any of you follow me on Instagram and donated money to my medical bill, because I was at a $2,500 medical bill and now I'm down to $117 or $1,700, and that's thanks to those of you who donated. I didn't like create a full GoFundMe or anything like that. It was just like an Insta story. I was like, here's my Venmo if you're interested, if you're able to. And a handful of people really pulled through. So if you were one of those people, I'm so appreciative of it. If you're someone who has just sent well wishes, even just sending good energy my way, I appreciate it so much. Just watching the videos, so thank you. So I think that's it. Hopefully I start to see some more improvement the longer I'm under the care of my naturopath. And also fingers crossed that I find a job soon that pays me a decent wage. Anyway, be safe, be well. I hope you find ways to enjoy your life, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.